Hey, what it do, world? And welcome to the Real Untouchable Podcast, man. With me, Ray Diggs, man. I got to talk about the Shedeur Sanders versus Dillion Gabriel situation, the quarterback situation that's going on in Cleveland. I had to get this episode right here done tonight, because tomorrow I have a big episode that I'm gonna talk about the two best teams in the state of Arkansas, and I'm gonna explain to y'all why I picked these two teams in the state of Arkansas. But yeah, I just want to talk about the fast. So yeah, I want to talk about what's the Cleveland Browns situation and why I feel like Dillion Gabriel is just as good as Shedeur Sanders, and it goes back to college. I'm explaining to y'all why. But hey, before I get started, man, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button, and make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. Now, for people that know me, know I love paper as well. I get the stats and everything back. So I'm gonna talk about Dillion Gabriel and why I think that he had just about the same career, and he's just as good as Shedeur Sanders. And I think that people don't like me saying this, but he's just as good as Shedeur Sanders. But the reason I feel like a lot of people do not like this kid, I don't know why. Because the kid don't talk, he don't really say too much, but people do not like this kid. And it's sad. Honestly, it is sad. It's sad to me. But Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback, but Dillion Gabriel is good as well. Now let's talk about Dillion Gabriel when he first came into college. He came in 2019. He was at UCF in the American League. He played 13 games. He had 2,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Okay, that's his first year as a true freshman. Okay, his second year as a sophomore, he played 10 games. He had 3,500 yards and 32 touchdowns with 4 interceptions. Okay, and everybody know in 2020, 2021, that was like the COVID year. So I'm guessing that right there what happened, but he still ended up having 800 yards and 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But that was I would think that was like the COVID year. So he ended up transferring from UCF and he ended up going to Oklahoma. And he went to the Big 12. He played 12 games his junior year. He ended up having 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Now, because of that COVID rule, players that played in the 2022 season, it didn't count. So the 2023 season would be his junior year, actually. So he ended up playing in 2023 as a senior. He was a senior in class, but he was still a junior because of the COVID year. They ended up giving him that year back, that COVID year, which will be that 2021 year, 2021, 2022 year. They ended up giving those 2 years back to everybody and all the players. That's why a lot of players end up playing 6 years of college, 5-6 years of college. That's why. But his senior year, he ended up throwing for 3,600 yards and 30 touchdowns at Oklahoma. And then he ended up transferring to Oregon last season, into which he had this team as the number 1 team. Went to Ohio State, they played against Ohio State, beat Ohio State. Now they ended up getting stomped out by Ohio State, but his last season at Oregon, 14 games, he completed 73% of his passes. Okay, he ended up completing 73% of his passes, 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions for a pass, and he finished 3rd in the Heisman. Now, this right here is his 6 years of college. All these yards I keep saying, 3,000 yards, 3,000 yards, 3,000 yards, 3,000 yards, 3,000 yards. So every single year that this kid played at least 10 games, he threw for 3,000 yards. Now, Shedeur Sanders, we could talk about him, and he developed. I remember when Shedeur Sanders was playing at Trinity in Dallas, the private school, and I said, yeah, he needs to go to Jackson State because that's how he can develop. And that's what he did. He went to Jackson State in 2021. He played 13 games, completing 65% of his passes, 3,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Okay, that's a good season. Then his second season, he played 13 games, completed 70% of his passes. He threw for 3,700 yards and 40 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Okay, now And this right here was at Jackson State. Now, I can honestly say that the competition might be a little bit better at UCF than it is at Jackson State. That's just my opinion. So then he went to Colorado. His first year, he played 11 games. He threw 60, he was 69%. He threw for 3,200 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Now, we know that he was getting sacked left and right. Some of it was the offensive line fault. Some of it was his fault. So, but that right there was his junior year. And then he came this year. He played 13 games, 74%, 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns with 10 interceptions. So when I look at this right here, right? When I look at Dillion Gabriel, he threw 400 passes twice. Shedeur Sanders threw 400 pass attempts every season. One season he attempted 488 passes. That's almost 500 passes in 13 games. He threw for 477 just this past season in 13 games. So when I look at these two quarterbacks, right? When I look at the attempts, now Dillion Gabriel did play 2 extra seasons, but guess how many passes he had compared to Shedeur? Shedeur had 1,800 passing yards. 1,800 passing attempts. Dillion Gabriel only had 2,100. So he basically had him by 300, and he played 2 more seasons. So this just tells me that Shedeur Sanders has played in a pass-happy offense. But their stats is damn near the same. One of them got 134 touchdowns. The other one got 155 touchdowns. One got 27 interceptions. The other one got 32 interceptions. Okay? So when I look at these two quarterbacks, while people sitting there trying to act like that Shedeur Sanders is just head and shoulders above Dillion Gabriel, he damn near, they about the same. They've had about damn near the same stats every season in college. But you got this beat writer in Cleveland that sit there and try to make every single thing that Dillion Gabriel does into, oh my God, this right here was a terrible interception. Okay, when Shedeur Sanders is out here throwing, Shedeur Sanders throw a 5-yard pass and they be like, oh my God, this right here is what I'm talking about. This is a real deal. That's not no damn real deal. This right here is just an average. And that's why you can tell that this quarterback class was just that bad. Because when you sitting around and you bragging about what Shedeur Sanders is doing against the third team, people that's probably not going to even be on the team, it tells you everything you need to know. That he ain't that good. This quarterback class ain't this good. I said this right here before. Cam Ward ain't that good. He was 11 for 26 yesterday in practice. These quarterbacks are not that good. All of these quarterbacks that was in this draft are about 2nd and 3rd round quarterbacks. Hell, might be 4th round. I won't go as far as saying 4th round, but they're all 2nd round quarterbacks. And that is the reason why Cam Ward was number 1 and Shedeur Sanders could have easily been top 5. Because these quarterbacks ain't that good. And you're proving this. And I hope that they push Shedeur in because I want everybody to finally see this dude ain't that good. He ain't that good. And if you look at these practices, the defense is letting up. The defense is letting up. They not pass rushing him because he's not that good of a scrambler. But Dillion Gabriel, I think that the Cleveland Browns liked him more. And then now, everybody's mad. Oh man, why did Jim Haslam had to say that? He didn't have, the Browns owner had to say that Shedeur Sanders wasn't my pick. That was the GM pick. He's like, that's not my pick. And everybody is mad. Everybody, oh, why he had to say that? He did not have to say that. Listen, he said it because it's his team. He can say whatever he want to say. And he's telling y'all the truth. Now, if he don't say it, then y'all be mad. When he do say, that's not my pick. That right there was the GM pick. That was Barry's pick. That wasn't mine. Y'all mad. So that tells me everything I need to know. That tells me that the Cleveland Browns ain't sold on him just like I'm not sold on him. People like him because he's Deion Sanders' son. Because he stays out the practice. A lot of people stay out the practice. They pretty much just record him doing it. It's a lot of quarterbacks. It's a lot of players that stays out of practice that gets in extra work. But Shedeur Sanders is smart. He knows how to manipulate. You know how Skip Bayless said that LeBron knows how to manipulate the media? That's how Shedeur Sanders is. He knows how to manipulate the media. He's probably like, I'm going to stay out the practice about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, because I know that somebody's going to catch that on camera. And then they're going to be like, oh my God, y'all see Shedeur Sanders? He stayed after 30 minutes after practice. You doing what you're supposed to do. That's just like you sitting here rewarding your child for being good at school when they supposed to be good at school. That's what they supposed to be. He's supposed to stay after and get extra help. He's supposed to stay out and put in extra work. Every quarterback right now in practice are staying after. Every rookie wide receiver and running back are probably staying after. He's just the one that they're just trying to hype up like he's the only one that's doing it. But everybody's doing it. Myles Garrett stay after, and he damn near the best pass rusher in the league. So let's stop acting like he's doing something. But see, that's what Cleveland Browns fans, that's what Cleveland Browns beat writers want us to think, that he's the only one that's doing this. Dillion Gabriel probably doing the exact same thing, staying out the practice, being in his playbook, but they don't want him to be the starter. They want Shedeur Sanders to be the starter. That's why they push him. Same thing it's the same thing with Baker Mayfield. Everything Baker Mayfield did, they made sure that they record. Oh, Baker Mayfield is here there picking his nose. Oh my God, Baker Mayfield is over there signing autographs. Dude, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not going to sit here and clap because a person is signing an autograph. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Because as you become good, you won't be the better you get, the less autographs you're going to sign. That's why you sign them as a rookie. But let's stop acting like that Dillion Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders ain't damn near the same quarterback. They're damn near the same. Neither one of these quarterbacks is just head and shoulder above the other. I would probably say Dillion Gabriel might be better. Same thing I said about Jalen Milroe. I said, man, I think Jalen Milroe might be the second or third best quarterback in this draft. I think that Cam Ward might be the only quarterback that was probably better than him. And that's questionable right there as well. Because if you take and you give him his accuracy and you keep him in college as long as Cam Ward was in college or long as Shedeur Sanders was in college, I think that Jalen Milroe probably is a better quarterback because he's younger and he has more. And I said this years ago. I said he has more upside. His upside is really upside. Same thing I said when Lamar Jackson was coming out. I said, yeah, he might not be accurate, but his upside is like, because he can do something that these other quarterbacks can't do. He can throw a little bit. Now he's got really good at throwing, and he can run. Like, he can run 4-4. Same thing with Jalen Milroe. And they said Jalen Milroe was down there balling down there at Seattle Seahawks camp. But you don't see every single thing he do. You don't see nobody recording everything that he does. That's why it's not on every single, but everything that Shedeur Sanders does, they record it. And then every bad thing that Dillion Gabriel do, Dillion Gabriel comes out there and he goes 9 for 9 against the starters. And then everybody be like, they won't say nothing. But then the next day, Shedeur Sanders come out there and he goes 8 for 8 against the third screen. They be like, y'all see, Shedeur Sanders went 8 for 8. Yeah, against the third screen. Joe Flacco went 8 for 12 against the starters. Which one you think is better? 8 for 12 against the starters, or 8 for 8 against a third screen against players that's probably not going to make the team? You can make that decision. That's just what I wanted to say, man. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow, man. I'm going to talk about Arkansas high school football. They are the two best teams in the state of Arkansas. Everybody already know who they are, but I'm going to explain to y'all why one team is just head and shoulder better than the other team. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at the Real Untouchable Podcast, man, with me, Ray Diggs. Make sure y'all have a great, safe weekend. Make sure you don't drink and drive. Make sure you don't do drugs, man. Make sure you do the right thing. Until next time, man, thank y'all again for listening to another great segment of the Real Untouchable Podcast with me, Ray Diggs. Peace.